Get off your butt and get out of bed and get to work. Guys, it's Rick Ginn. And in this video, if you are financially frustrated, if you're not exactly where you need to be, you have to watch this video. I'm gonna give you the 3 truths you have to deal with today. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best up-to-date information from Rick Ginn. Listen, truth number 1, the reality you're watching this video, you're probably not happy where you're at. I get it. I was 100% at this point in my early 30s, and I decided I had to make a change. But what you have to understand is most of you are getting bad, outdated financial advice from people that don't truly understand how to achieve it. Let's go over it. Think about the people that influence you the most, your friends, your coworkers, and worst of all, your family. And you guys constantly talk about how to get ahead financially, and you're still not there. Do you ever wonder why you haven't achieved it? The reality is it's really bad advice. If you get advice from people that have not achieved financial success in today's world, most likely they are not going to help you in the future. Listen, you're going to have a reality check here. The friends you grew up with, the friends I grew up with, like we were kids, we had a good time, we knew nothing about money, and honestly, nobody ever taught us. And that is a bond that you're not going to break. And I'm not telling you to lose that, but if you take financial advice from your friends, you're going to wind up exactly like your friends. And if they're frustrated and they're broke, you're going to be broke too. Your coworkers, need I say more? The word coworkers, if they're at a job, that's it. And honestly, the worst offender, I'm just gonna throw it out there, is gonna be your family. And they're doing this out of a place of love. They love you and they wanna protect you, but they are programmed on outdated information. Most likely your parents, and I'm gonna tell you why, because I got this advice from my parents and you need to understand. They told me to go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Educators promoted me constantly, get a good job. And I was told, Rick, you're never gonna get a good job because you don't pay attention like normal people do. You're right. I don't want to be normal. I never really wanted a job, but I let my parents convince me this was the route. And I wasted 12 years of my life trying to figure it out. And honestly, if I can prevent someone watching this video, I want you to understand this. The world, your country, your school system, your parents, coworkers, they all want to train you to get a job, get a good career, play it safe, be the middle class. Guys, these are words that are going to most likely take you down. And you need to recognize this right now. If you want to be like everybody else and be broke, keep doing what you're doing. It took me a long time to accept this fact. Listen, your parents love you. Their job's to get you to age 18, and they love you like crazy the first 12 years of your life. They think you're difficult during your teenage years, and then honestly, 18 and on, they pretty much let you go. That's honestly from 18 to 30 is when most people need guidance. That's when I had most of my issues, and I wish someone would have grabbed me back then and tell me what I'm telling you today. And here's exactly what I would say to you. The reality is if you're getting financial advice from your parents, and even if they're financially well off, and that's an open interpretation, because I don't even understand the word retire. I do what I love. Like I'll do it as long as my brain functions and I have a good time doing it. I'm not fighting to get to age 59 and a half, 65 to get a retirement. That sounds like torture. And most people perish after they retire because they feel lost. So the reality is if your parents are financially independent now, that's great. But if you take their advice on it, if you take the strategy like 20, 30 years ago that made them successful in today's world, most likely it's not going to work. A good job, a good career is not going to get you really far. 95% of jobs, most people live paycheck to paycheck and they're broke. And with today's event of inflation, the way our government is running up debts and the cost of living, it's very hard to live on a salary. It's just the bottom line. You have to trade your hours for work and you're not going to have enough hours to achieve what you want. So you have to find a vehicle that is going to help you beat the pace of our government spending, the cost of inflation, and the cost of housing. And if you haven't accepted the fact that you're never going to get ahead with a regular person's job, it might have got your parents ahead 20, 30 years ago. The world has changed. Most likely, if your parents implemented the strategies they're trying to invoke on you, they would fail too. So why are you following their advice? I get it. You want to make your parents happy, but if your parents are done with you in your early 20s, you have to make decisions to catapult yourself and separate and break the chains of poverty in your family if it's going on. Even if your parents are well off, they grew up in a different world, and that advice is not going to work. Guys, if you think things are rapidly changing now, the cost of living, inflation, AI is about to massively disrupt half the workforce within the next 18 to 24 months. The question is, are you going to be a producer or are you going to be a consumer? You have to make that change. You're getting bad advice. That's truth number 1. And if you keep taking this bad advice and trying to implement it, it's on you. So before you take anyone's financial advice, have them show you how they're financially free, and have someone that's shown it's done it recently, not 30 years ago, because those rules don't apply to today's economy. Truth number 2, you always hear this. It's how hard you're going to work. How many hours you're going to put in a day? Are you willing to put in 15, 20 hours? I'm here to tell you, in today's economy, that doesn't mean squat. It doesn't mean you skip the time to learn your craft, whatever vehicle you choose. But the reality is, if you work 15 hours a day in a dead-end job with no chance of ever growing, how are you actually going to get ahead? It's just the truth. You see, it's more important in which vehicle you decide to take to get to financial freedom as opposed to how many hours you work. How many hours you work is a poor man employee's thinking you're trading hours for dollars, because you know that's not going to work. It's more important the vehicle you choose to get financial independence than how many hours you put into it. Because the reality is, if you put thousands of hours into an old, broken down car, you're barely just going to get by, because the repairs are never going to stop. As opposed if you find a super vehicle that has longevity and it's going to build you towards the future, if you spend half the amount of time in the super vehicle versus the crappy vehicle, you're going to get a lot further in life. And that's the truth. This work 12, 15 hours a day, it's ridiculous. The wealthiest people I know, they actually don't work crazy hours. Now, in the beginning, they worked a lot of hours, but they chose the right vehicle. And if you don't understand, if you don't choose the right vehicle, and if you think the vehicle is getting a job and a career, you're never going to get ahead. See, if people talk about retirement, they talk about 401k plans, they talk about join the middle class, it's okay, play it safe. Guys, these words are like poison to my ears. And for the longest time, I thought that was the promised land. Listen, you're never going to get rich working for someone else. And you can use it as a vehicle to get where you need to go. But at some point, if you truly want to get ahead and outpace inflation, cost of living, and override all this government debt, you're going to have to take catapulting steps to get there. You have to make a choice. Working in corporate America, being a W-2 worker, paying your full taxes is actually going to penalize you. And you are rewarded with just, 2 weeks in vacation a year? Guys, that's a joke. You are never going to get rich working for someone else. Number one, you have to own it, and you have to admit it and understand you are going to have to choose a different path if you truly want to get ahead. You're going to have to be brutally honest with yourself. So that always comes to okay, how do I do that? Which now I'm going to bring you to truth number 3, and I'm going to show you this simplistic method on how you can actually get to real work and get financially free. So the truth number 3 to start this is just please stop being a victim. Stop blaming everyone else. I already know I always have a problem with someone the minute they blame 2 or 3 other things. Let's face it, it's super easy to blame. You can blame it on the weather. You can blame it on your sister, your brother. You can blame it on your parents. You can blame it on the economy. You can blame it on the president. And honestly, that is a victim mentality. If you choose a victim mentality, there is nothing you can do to help yourself, because you're admitting to the world that everybody else is in control other than yourself. So you're going to have to do the opposite. You're going to have to be 100% accountable. Whoa. I have to be accountable for everything I do? Absolutely. And the sooner you accept that, the better off you're going to do. And you're going to have to lose your ego in this process to be accountable, because your ego lies to you every day. Ego creates selfishness, self-centered, and your ego's all about you and it doesn't consider anybody else. You're going to have to be accountable to yourself. And the only way to be accountable, this is the heart of truth number 3, you're going to have to tell yourself the truth. If you lie to yourself, there's no way I can help you. Anybody can help you. Honestly, if you're not going to tell yourself the truth, you can never correct the problem. So how do we start this process? Let's just admit it. I've blamed everybody else. I haven't been 100% accountable. And for me to get the results I want, I'm going to have to tell myself the truth, because once you know that the truth, now we can fix it. But honestly, most people will never tell themselves the truth. That way they don't have to be accountable and they can blame everybody else for it. If you want to tell the truth, let's jump into it. I'm going to give you some basic advice to get this party started. So now that you have the 3 truths, let's talk about the steps to get you to work, to actually get you on a productive path to get you financially free. So the first step, stop taking advice from broke people. I don't care who they are. They're family, friends, coworkers. Honestly, if they have not proven their financial ability, you haven't looked at a statement, you haven't looked at a bank account, and honestly, don't look at their car and look at their house and decide if they're rich. That's middle class thinking. People that own stuff free and clear, absolutely amazing. I'm super impressed. People that own a lot of investment properties, I think that's awesome. Honestly, stop looking at people's assets and decide if that makes them financially free, because a lot of times they're in over their head on the debt. The middle class does this all day long. That's why they have a credit score system. So people will overspend what they make so they can be enslaved by banks, by the government to pay their taxes. Don't fall for this trap. Listen, people talk about careers, job, safety, 401ks, retirement. Be aware of it. You are going to be complacent if you think like that. If anyone who lives in the past and says college was the best years of their life, they did life wrong. How can being that young of a person be the best time of your life? If you grow financially and grow as a person every year, and by the way, most people stop growing in their early 30s, physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, definitely in all these categories. You have to continue to go. So many people think education stops in their early 20s. Honestly, it just starts. Understand this. Stop taking advice from people that like live in their past college years, or the most popular people in high school and college. Those people that typically stop growing. And that is the key. I could care less where people came from. My question to you is, where are you going? And if you want to go, let's go there. Step 2, you got to lose your ego. Your ego is not serving you. It's wrong. And honestly, the biggest downfall I see people of, even when they take action, they get out of bed and they get cranking to work, they let their ego get in the way whenever a bad decision comes up, and they just double down. Stop trying to look good. Stop trying to look rich and actually learn how to become rich, because looking rich is probably the biggest problem we have in society today. Let's show you how to become rich, because looking and being are two completely different programs. Decide which one and when you want to join. To join the right program to actually be rich, you have to lose your ego. It's very selfish. It's very self-centered, and it's always going to try to prove you right. You can't listen and you can't learn when you have a giant ego. Lose it. Listen, the next one is simple. At some point, you got to believe in yourself. I believe in you. Zach believes in you. The whole world believes in you, in my opinion, but somehow you doubt yourself. And this is a part that you have to say, I deserve it, I want it, and I'm going to go for it. You have got to go all in. Stop putting your toes in when you go to work and stuff like that. Go all in. Honestly, if you're an employee right now, go be the best damn employee at that place, and you make sure they pay you what you need to do, because eventually you're going on to your financial freedom and you don't have to worry about that paycheck. But whatever you do, just push it to the limit. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't do the best. Listen, the only person that sets a limitation on you is you yourself. That's it. Your limitations are all within your head. Stop thinking what society's going to limit to you, the government, your family, your coworkers, your friends. It is up to you. Take ownership for it. Believe in yourself. Go all in. If you don't do this part, you can't expect greatness from yourself. So for your ability to believe in yourself, here's what you have to do. You're going to have unwavering conviction, period. Listen, I hope you choose wholesaling, and I'll teach you how to do it over at freewholesaling.com. But the reality is, whatever you choose and you really want to motivate yourself and get to work to set yourself and your family free, you're going to have conviction. And conviction is what holds a belief up. It is the support system, because here's what's going to happen. If you choose wholesaling, I don't care, like wholesaling, which I prefer you to do, people are going to come out, what are you doing? That's a scam. Like, I don't believe in that. You need to go get a license. You need to do this. You need to do that. I don't understand what you're doing. It sounds illegal. Once again, if you're going to let people shoot bullet holes through your armor and they destroy your belief, what protects you, your body armor, is your conviction. A conviction is nothing other than a strongly held position, period. You have to hold your fort. If you get attacked by 1,000 people, you hold. This is what I'm doing. I'm a wholesaler. I want to get financially free. I want to help people out, and I'm going to be in control of my destiny. If you let others penetrate your belief, it means you lack conviction. And the minute you have an objection or you have an obstacle, you cave. That's what most of society does. You have to have strong conviction to support your belief system. Next step is, please stop worrying about what others think about what you're doing. The only thing that matters is you. And honestly, once you put up those barriers, I promise you people are going to attack you no matter what you do in life. It is a fit for you, and it makes you feel better, and it gets you financially free and gives choices and options for you and your family and gives you more freedom of time. Then do it. Guys, I am never about who makes the most in real estate. I'm about who gets the most freedom, financial freedom and physical freedom, so you can choose to do what you want with your time. That's why I love this business so much. But if you're going to constantly be worried about what other people think about what you're doing, I'm already telling you 95% of the world is going to be against you until you get wildly successful. Then they all jump on your ship. Guys, nobody jumped on my ship for the first 7 years. Nobody. Family, friends, coworker, nobody. And honestly, it felt weird. And a lot of times I felt trapped or worried about what people thought of me. Let it go. If I could go back in time and tell myself, stop worrying about what others think about you, because the only thing that matters is you want to move forward. So why would you take opinions of others? They just want to bring you down, and they're just showing their insecurities. It's their problem, not yours. Don't let others' perception of what you're doing sway your conviction or your belief in your business. And the final step is, you're going to have to take very precise, you're going to have to choose the vehicle you're going to jump into. If it's wholesaling, that's perfect. And you're going to have to take massive action. And it really matters of who you get your advice from. I'd get it from someone who's been through the business and is still very passionate about it and actually does wholesaling. Gee, I wonder where you can do that. If you want to learn more how to do that with wholesaling, go to freewholesaling.com. Me and my son have created a course. We teach you 100% for free. Not only get your first deal, but get you to your first 100K. And along with that, you're going to have to learn to get wildly uncomfortable, because you've put your ego down. You've accepted the way you've been doing stuff is wrong, and someone's going to teach teach you a radical new way that 95% of the world doesn't do. It's going to make you wildly uncomfortable. You're not in danger. You're just not used to it. And you're going to have to stay uncomfortable until you make the money that you and your family deserves, because the ability to stay in the uncomfortable till it gets comfortable is hard. And what most people try to do is they switch from uncomfortable to go back to the known. And remember, the known is what puts you in this position. Understand you're going to have to take precise, massive action, and understand you're going to be uncomfortable and you're going to have to stay there until we solve this problem. And in the end, you're going to be so comfortable, but you're going to have to put in the hard work up front. Listen, that's where the real change happens, in the uncomfortable, vulnerable position, because you've been brutally honest with yourself. You're doing things completely different and you are sticking to the plan. And it's awkward. And honestly, if you can accept this, this should motivate you through the roof to take that massive action to make a financial change in your life so you can get freedom for whatever you want in life. Listen, you all know that real estate is probably the key vehicle to get financial independence. It's been proven for hundreds of years in this country, not only in this country, all over the world. So the question is, how are you going to get to work and choose the best vehicle to really get financially independent? I'm somewhat biased. If you want to learn how to wholesale, which is a specific real estate skill, which is the fundamentals of finding discounted properties over and over again, because whoever can learn wholesaling can master any other aspect of real estate, because a lot of people try to avoid wholesaling because they go, it's a lot of work. True wholesalers can do anything they want in real estate, because wholesaling, in my opinion, is probably one of the hardest techniques to learn. But once you learn it, it is the most fulfilling, the most financially rewarding, and will set you free in all aspects of your life. I know I'm biased on it. If you want to learn more how to do this, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and my son will show you absolutely for free with no catches involved. Listen, you know real estate's the proven strategy. I want you to check out wholesaling. Check us out. I think I can change your life. But remember, you have to take the steps in this video. You have to be accountable and you have to take massive action. It is completely up to you. If you want to learn more how to do this, go over to freewholesaling.com. And listen, if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. This is Rick Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video.